Hey there everybody, this is Dr. Ogres, and welcome to Noobswarm 2012. This was last Wednesday. I had some trouble recording my voice, mostly because of the setup of my audio. So this is probably the first time I've done after the fact voice over narration, so I hope it's okay. The generalities of the fleet, though. We met up about 1800 in Dodixie. We started forming the fleet. It took us about 20-25 minutes before the fleet was really kind of ready to go. We had, at that point, about 83 fleet members. There was a few more here or there and a few less towards the end, but I think 83 was about the average number for most of the fleet. We formed up here in Dodixie. We had a little conga line, and as we kind of gathered up, we drew some interest from local, and a harbinger came to kind of stare at us. We decided not to shoot, though, because going GCC and high-sec and rookie ships probably not the best thing in the world. We used most of our opportunities in high-sec to kind of train the fleet on some of the basics. A lot of you guys were really new to fleets, and I'm really glad that you took your first steps into EVE Online PvP fleet work with us in the Noobswarm. Thanks a lot for coming. But we had to kind of teach everybody the basics of aligning to gates, jumping, when to jump, holding cloak, all that good stuff. Just to kind of get everybody used to taking commands and operating in a fleet environment. So yeah, a good portion of the time here was spent just kind of putting together the fleet. And then we started with a pretty awesome fleet warp and headed into the depths of Minmatar space. So the fleet lasted for about 4 hours. I've edited it down here to just a little bit over 30 minutes. Going through all that video was pretty awesome because it was a really great fleet just in general. Everybody in it was a lot of fun to fly with, and we had a good time. As we were flying through some of the high-sec systems here in and around Dodixie on our way over towards Low-sec Molden Heath, we decided that we were going to have a little fun with the local populace. Every time we jumped into a system, there'd be an enormous spike in population, and in fact, when we went into Heck, we actually triggered the time dilation feature, which was, I thought, pretty awesome. To me, that was one of the high points of the entire experience, was the fact that we caused time dilation to happen just by jumping a fleet of 83 rookie ships into a system. So that was pretty awesome. So we bounced a couple belts on our way through, hoping to maybe find a miner just to see if we could give them a heart attack. Didn't find a miner, but coming up here in our second belt, we did get our first kill, and it's a very, very impressive kill. So we warp in, and as you can guess, we encountered somebody, and they were not any way, shape, or form prepared for what we were about to unleash on them. That's right, there it is, a rat. We found an NPC rat in the belt, so we were a little disappointed in that, but I ordered to take out this Angel Cartel frigate. Which didn't last very long. I think we looted some ammunition from that. So, yeah, that was exciting. At any rate, so after that little bit of fun, we kind of got back on the road and started heading back into Low-sec. It was, I think, a total of 15 jumps from Dodixie to Low-sec. But what we found when we got towards the end there was somebody was kind of prepared for our little fleet coming. We had picked up a friendly Talos kind of along the way, and I was kind of suspicious because he was really following us along. Turns out later, of course, that yes, there was a spy in the fleet. If you've ever run fleets in EVE Online, you know there's always a spy in the fleet. So there was a spy in the fleet. He was the pilot of the Talos pilot, but he was also with us. But I will say he was a good pilot, and he was a lot of fun to fly with and against. So we pick up our our Talos here, just as we're getting ready to jump out of Tionsudi, I think it's pronounced. It's into Bolsena, which is our first high sec to low sec jump. And it was I was thinking the whole time that this is going to be bad. We're going to get in here. The Talos is going to be able to tank the gate guns, and we're going to lose the whole fleet right here in low sec. But then again, if he goes GCC on us, at least we can shoot back. But nothing of the sort happened. So we kept going on, and further we got in, we actually came across a couple viable targets. The first one sort of jumped into us was in a Dominix. I was pretty excited because I thought, all right, solo battleship, we can take that. Unfortunately, this solo Dominix was a smart bomb fit Dominix. So I called him as the target, and we started to engage. As we all kind of burned towards him, I start to see drones and ships popping around him, and then the smart bomb effect, there you go, tell me, uh-oh, we can't actually take this guy on. So I called the fleet to disengage. We scooped drones, and I pulled us out. I would love to have blown up the Dominix, but I think that taking a Noobswarm into a smart bomb Dami is probably not the smartest idea in the entire universe. At this point, I was a little... We got split up because of the way gate mechanics work, and this is kind of one of those things you need to understand about Eve. If you are aggressed, you have 60 seconds before you can take a gate. So I pulled the fleet back, and then I expected us to warp to another gate and jump. However, the aggression timer got us split up, so we kind of had to wait for everybody to get back together. In the meantime, however, we land on a gate, and the Dominix lands with us, jumps through, along with our friendly Talos pilot, and the Dominix gets blowed up. Yes, right. The Talos took care of the Dominix for us. So with that out of the way, I got the fleet back together, and we started moving back down the pipe. Second ship we kind of, there's our Talos, hanging up by the corpse of the Dominix. I didn't trust the Talos at this point, but at least he was there to see us at least to null sec, which was fine by me at that point in time. So we pulled back and we started flying. I gathered the fleet back up and we continued on our way. Our second opportunity for combat came just a few jumps later. We wait for the Talos to jump first, because I thought, why not? We'll gank him. And we jump into an omen. The omen pilot, I don't think, was expecting us, but we jump in. The Talos is already chasing the omen, so I kind of wait to see what's going to happen. This is one of those things you can kind of do if you are running a fleet or just doing solo PvP. I waited to see what happened. The omen was far enough away that I knew he was going to warp off. He warped to the center of the system. 99% of the time, that means they're warping to the star. The star is not something that shows up by default on anyone's overview. So I decided to warp the fleet directly to the star and see if maybe we could just get lucky and get ourselves a kill on that omen. So we're in warp, and I give the command that when we land, instantly try to get a hold of the omen. Omens are a little dangerous, especially if you're in frigates, because they can be fit in a lot of ways that make them really heavy tank and super, super dangerous to frigates. It's actually one of my favorite cruisers. I really, really like the Omen. The Bellicose can do similar things if you fit it properly, but the Omen is definitely built for it. The tank on it can be brutal, and if it fits small guns, it can do quite a bit of damage. So we do land on top of the Omen, and we get to targeting and we get to work on him. At this point, however, none of us have prop mods because we're all in noob ships, and the Omen starts burning away at a rapid pace. fast enough that he pulled out of range of all of our warp disruption capacity and warped off. So at this point I decided that chasing the omen around maybe not gonna net us any kills. I ordered everybody to scoop their drones and decided we would take a brief moment to get our ships repaired, pick up new drones, because we did lose some to the Dominics and some people actually needed to catch up with us. So I pulled us into a station, and then our Talos, see? If our Talos was a better spy, he would have known where we were going, and he could have got the omen kill. But anyway, so I took everybody to a station, and we docked up so that we could repair our ships if necessary, pick up new drones, ammos, anything else we would need before we took the last jump of Losec on our way into the Great Wildlands. The Great Wildlands is, of course, where we met our biggest bit of battle. We left into Eggbinger. We jumped across and we got a really good fight. And I'll kind of let that fight speak for itself. I yanked the audio from the Lone Wolf, but here goes. Alright, this is nullsec, guys. Anything goes past here. Everybody jump, 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 hold cloak. Jump, hold cloak, jump, hold cloak.
Whoa, 2 Drakes,
hey, there
Hurricane,
he
and
is.
Corsair.
There he is.
Must be his buddies.
Yep, Courser will be primary if we can get close to him.
Courser is trying to unlock us.
Alright, everybody approach the Courser. He is primary. Courser is primary.
Out of lock range.
Anybody can get him, get him. I want him webbed, I want him pointed.
Our Guardian Talos has turned on us.
That's I knew he would. Okay, that's one.
Get the pod.
Drake is next.
Guys, when you get blown up, get your pod out of here. You can get podded and all.
We are a bit far
That's
from
one
it. We
kill.
better move.
Come on.
What missiles does that Drake have? Can't even see.
I can.
His shields are creeping.
Hurricane.
New primary is Hurricane. I want ECM drones on the Hurricane. ECM drones on the Hurricane. Switch your primary to the Hurricane.
Hurricane's burning.
Primary to Hurricane. Primary to Hurricane. Hurricane is primary. Hurricane is primary. Hurricane's in the armor. Primary to Hurricane. Primary to Hurricane. Secondary is going to be Adam Brainer in the Drake. Secondary is Adam Brainer in the Drake.
Keep it up, guys.
Hurricane's going down.
Hurricane's going to go down. Hurricane is primary. Secondary is Adam Brainerd in the Drake. Adam Brainerd in the Drake is secondary.
Hurricane jammed.
Excellent work. Adam Brainerd is primary. Adam Brainerd is primary. Warp out in the Talus is secondary. Warp out in the Talus is secondary.
You need to reship, get back into Inger, and dock up, come back out.
Adam Brainerd is primary. Adam Brainerd is primary. Talos is secondary. Warp out in the Talos is secondary.
Guys, kill their pods too.
Talos is primary. Talos is primary. Warp out in the Talos is primary. Call points if you get them, guys. Give me a point in that other Drake.
Pointed.
Warp out is primary. Warp out is primary. I want ECM drones on the Drake. ECM drones on the Drake. Warp out is primary. DPS on warp out. ECM drones on the Drake. If he's kiting us, alright, everybody pull back, pull back. Commando in the Drake is primary. Commando in the Drake is primary. Command in the Drake is primary. Command in the Drake is primary. Command in the Drake is primary. Warp out will be secondary. Command in the Drake is primary. ECM drones on the Drake. ECM drones on the Drake, please. ECM drones on the Drake. Commander in the Drake is primary. If we get him past peak recharge, it's all over. No, oh, that's it. 33, 32, that's it. Peak recharge, he's done. Keep it on, keep it on. DPS on the Drake, DPS on the Drake. ECM drones on the Drake, ECM drones on the Drake. All ECM on the Drake, all DPS on the Drake. Warp out is secondary, warp out is secondary. He's down, he's down. Warp out is primary, warp out is primary. Warp out in the Talus is primary. Warp out in Talus is primary. GF and local, guys. Alright, he's kiting. Everybody pull back to gate. Pull back to Eggbinger gate. Everybody approach Eggbinger gate. I don't want him to kite us out. If you have a ship, come on in.
I say all those pods could get a ship in.
Oh, he got me.
He can
He can hit us from that range and single shot us. He is range fit. Everybody get to Eggbinger and jump.
The Drake's using drone.
So, of course, in the end, our friendly Talos pilot turned out to be less than friendly. But I guess you gotta kind of expect that. So, he was range fit, doing a lot of damage, and pretty much single-shotting us. He was also a pretty fast-locking fit, as far as the Talos goes. So, we pulled back to Eggbinger, and we spent a little bit of time reshipping and refitting. At one point, I actually jumped back in to get killed and potted by our Talos friend, which was super awesome. And then it took me a long time to come back. So I opened a chat with the spy in the fleet and actually negotiated just let us go through so we can get back to the roam. Because I really wasn't interested in kind of chasing out a kiting insta-lock, mega damage Talos that would just pop us one by one as we approached. So, yeah. So we got back in Eggbinger, and we started to gather back up, and we jumped into the Great Wildlands again. And this time we started moving a little bit further in and down the pipe. We encountered some of the denizens of the Great Wildlands. There's the wreckage from our first battle. It was pretty awesome to see that. I thought that was just awesome. So many wrecks. We encountered some people along the way. We were going to try to take down a Tengu, but he sort of escaped just by jumping out of the system on us. And as I was sort of kind of think about whether we jump in after him, and especially with all of his kind of friends joining us on the gate, something very exciting happened. We start locking up a vagabond, and then I hear cries of bomb, bomb, bomb on comms. That's right, we got smart bombed on a gate. Boom, which killed a lot of people. It was really awesome. So nullsec is great for a couple of reasons, one of which is, of course, smart bombers get to use bombs there. So we all scooped our drones, and I tried to take the gate, failing to recognize, of course, that my drones were out there trying to kill a vagabond that they were never ever going to reach. So I warped off, and we regathered our strength and kind of moved on. Always in the back of my head, I was thinking about those stealth bombers, and it would be really easy for us if we could just get a point on them and kind of take them out. So I started moving into systems, and we started bouncing around on planets. I kind of knew they were following us, and I knew that you could see them in local. And I knew that we were not really being very subtle about it, so I fully expected us to get another bomb run on us. Which of course we did. So we land on a planet, a nemesis on cloaks, but unfortunately for him, I had already started fleet warp, and his bomb failed to land a second time. So we pushed through a couple more systems, with again the stealth bombers trailing behind us. The fleet gets eyes on them. We sort of split up a little bit. And in the next system, we managed to finally catch up with them. These are one of those times where I wish I had not initiated fleet warp, simply because there's our target. And I'm already pulling us into warp. People are already moving, and he's only firing torps, which torpedoes against rookie ships, it's not really very effective. So yeah, but then again, you know, he could have been stalling for more stealth bombers to come blow the rest of us up. It's entirely possible. I don't know what was going through their minds, but we pushed on, and again started bouncing planets. Again, thinking that we were going to eventually catch these guys, when I got word over comms that somebody had eyes on one of the stealth bombers, and that they were going to try to get a point. So we got a X in fleet, and we all tried to move on to that point. And I wound up being a little bit far away from the action, but there's our target. People were trying to bounce to him by warping away and then warping back in. I decided to stay because I didn't think it was going to last very long. You can see the torpedoes kind of going off in the area, and the stealth bomber's not going to last very long at all. With the might and fury of that many rookie ships on top of your stealth bomber, down he goes. So yes, that was kind of vengeance for our minimal losses of rookie ships. pretty awesome stuff there. Pretty awesome. I really appreciate the stealth bomber pilot. He was really good sport and local. On we moved, and pretty much the remainder of our time in the Great Wildlands was uneventful. We went from system to system to system, and didn't find very many targets at all, if anybody, in local. So I took us to a planet at the end. I thanked everybody for flying with us, and we decided to go ahead and just end it the only way that it could be ended. I looked at the fleet and we set up a battle royale. I immediately called targets on the Reapers first, because clearly, being Mimitar, they're the most dangerous, right? And we just started laying into each other. The victor of this contest was going to give the permission to pod me and collect my corpse should they wanted. Funnily enough, I seem to get primaried. At the end of the day, there could be only one. One of our Bellator pilots won our little battle royale, and we all started our individual trips back home. At the end of it all, though, this was a fantastic room. I'd like to thank everybody who came out to fly, everybody who recorded, and everybody who was just watching on the live stream and trying to kill us. I really, really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, and I hope we'll do it again soon, if not this year, next. These are always really good events, so I really appreciate everybody for coming out. Thanks to CCP for the new rookie ships. I really like the look of most of them, not so much the Reaper. But overall, I think they're awesome, and it was just a great time flying with you guys. I do have another episode of PvP to put out soon. I just got to get the editing done, but until then, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for flying.